Oh, it looks like the SEC has finally lost the case. Okay, well, not officially, but in this video, I'm going to tell you what was just uncovered in the transcript from the June 7th hearing that we didn't get to see. James Filan on Twitter posted it. I'm going to tell you what the judge caught the SEC doing. And it looks as of right now that the price of Bitcoin is pretty much ranging. It's going to need to set a new higher high in order to continue this uptrend. So I'm going to go over some of what the Bitcoin price action is doing, as well as XRP. And I'm going to talk about the gains my Patreon subscribers recently got. And if you follow any of the narratives around Michael Saylor, around Bitcoin, well, he had some interesting words to say in which Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, fired back at him. So I'm going to tell you what their beef was. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all of these topics interest you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. Also, if you do a couple of things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end, and check out my Patreon, link in the description below. In fact, checking out the Patreon nowadays could make you some nice profit. Alright guys, let's jump into it. Alright, so first I want to talk about what Charles Hoskinson, who's the founder of Cardano, and Michael Saylor, one of the largest Bitcoin holders in the entire world, actually had words. Well, kind of. It was more so a response. So recently, Michael Saylor, who is a Bitcoin maximalist, was going on the record basically calling things out for things that he thinks are securities, things that he thinks are scams, and he actually named Cardano as one of them, Cardano in his opinion being a security. Now, there's a lot of debate, there's a lot of gray area around topics like this. Of course, being in covering XRP in the case versus Ripple, there's a lot of things that people don't understand about ICOs, companies that didn't have ICOs, when these cryptocurrencies were created, who actually holds them, and does that mean decentralization or does it mean centralization? So there's a lot of gray area around it. But Charles Hoskinson nonetheless fired back at Michael Saylor and basically just said, listen, you need to know how your Bitcoin is going to react, or guess what? You're going to end up bankrupt. In fact, Charles Hoskinson called Michael Saylor a toxic Bitcoin maximalist. Now, I don't think you're going to get any arguments from a lot of people. Personally, I don't see Bitcoin maximalists as a problem, although the toxic part, that can be a bit cumbersome to navigate, especially on social media. Charles Hoskinson didn't just call out Michael Saylor. In fact, he called out all Bitcoin maximalists and said they're some of the most useless people to engage with. And those are some big fighting words. Some people say, well, Cardano's just trying to generate some buzz for his Cardano tokens that haven't exactly taken off, and a lot of the things that he's been working on for the last couple of years have taken forever. But nonetheless, those are the people that hold a ton of these cryptocurrencies, going back and forth. All right, so now let's take a look at what Bitcoin and the rest of this market is doing. Currently, as I'm making this video, Bitcoin is right around 21,000. It had briefly jumped above 21,500, almost 21,600. In order to continue its uptrend in this channel that it's in, it's going to have to break above 22,400 and hold it, at least for a while, to be considered this uptrend. XRP is no different. Now, it's actually performing a little bit better. It's at 35 cents and change currently. In order for it to continue its uptrend, it's going to be having to trade, probably break above 36 cents and hold. Now, it looks like we're going to have some pullback for the next half a day to a day. We'll have to see what happens after that. I've seen some trading analysis that say get ready for a dump on Monday. So we're going to have to see. But nonetheless, if you are a part of my Patreon group, you have seen that the one that I called for the month of July is doing particularly well. In fact, since I actually made that call, it's up about 40%. And in my opinion, it has a lot further to go. So my Patreons, if you decided to jump on that as any kind of investment or as any kind of trade, you probably are doing it pretty well. My opinion, there's a lot more upside to go. This is outperforming the majority of the altcoins, the majority of the cryptocurrency market. There's very few that have been outperforming it on the last 7 to 14 days. So if you want to go check that out, you'll have to be a member of the Patreon, as well as get new picks coming here at the end of July into August. There's a couple shaping up that I want to keep an eye on. Oh, okay, so now let's get into why the SEC just lost this case. Well, at least according to the people on Twitter that are following it. So James Filan, who is one of our favorite attorneys following this case, posted a transcript of the June 7th hearing that actually took place between Ripple, the SEC, and Judge Neprin. Now, in this hearing, they were actually talking about the attorney-client privilege that the SEC most recently brought up, that they were trying to use as their argument to try all of these emails back and forth, these discussions revolving around Bill Hinman's speech, which is basically the center of this case, which kind of blows my mind because a year ago this case was brought because supposedly XRP is a security, and now we're getting towards the end of this case, and we're going to see who was talking about that speech and what information they gave you about that speech. It really has nothing to do with XRP, but nonetheless, here's what he posted. He posted the transcript of the SEC literally telling the judge that the Hinman speech was SEC guidance and was supposed to be taken as legal advice as to how the SEC would actually see digital assets and digital currencies in a certain light. Well, guess what? About a year ago, they said the exact opposite. And they said Bill Hinman was acting as his own personal opinion in this speech, in a private speech. This wasn't meant to be SEC guidance. And the reason the reason that they're actually saying this now is because they're trying to assert attorney-client privilege to hide all those discussions. They don't want to have to show who was involved in writing these emails back and forth, any opinions that they actually gave, and any discussions that the SEC doesn't want involved, because we know there is a very deep backstory behind all of it, including a whole bunch of names that is going to have stuff dug up on them, whether they like it or not, if the rest of these names actually come into fruition, as well as what they told Bill Hinman before the speech. So that's what all of this is revolving around. Okay, so why did the SEC just lose this case? Judge Netburn, in this transcript, Judge Netburn laid out and said, well, hang on. I hear what you're saying now about the SEC giving guidance, and that's why you think these notes, these emails, these discussions should be protected. But a year ago, I seem to recall you saying the exact opposite. Right there, that's it. Case over. And in fact, now we have transcripts of what happened a year ago and what happened now, and the SEC attempting to claim both sides of the story. They are failing. This is the exact reason why Judge Netburn denied their most latest motion to assert attorney-client privilege and keep those emails hidden. This is exactly why, because she knew what she was doing. She was setting it up, in my opinion, the whole time, so that right from the SEC's mouth, we could see two separate stances for completely different reasons. As so, right now, there are officially approximately 10 days left in which the SEC will have to file an appeal. Will they actually file an appeal? Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think they'll actually go through with it. They're going to have to appeal to Judge Torres. A lot of their appeals haven't exactly gone their way. Judge Torres also gets back to things very, very quickly and very briefly in her answers. So we only have a little over a week before we can have a deadline on the SEC actually doing this. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they did it. It would shock me if they didn't. So if you want to follow along with that or any of the other stories that I cover on this channel, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind YouTube channel. Also, click the bell notifications. That way you'll be notified when I release a new video talking about these stories, talking about the cryptocurrency markets, and talking about stimulus check updates. Yeah, I actually recently did one of my previous videos talked about a stimulus check update. If you live in the United States, you might want to go check out that video because yes, there are states giving out stimulus. It's crazy, I know. So if you want to go check out some of the transcripts that James K. Filan posted on Twitter, the link to his Twitter account is always posted in the description of my videos. You can always go follow him there, as well as follow me, because a lot of these topics I will discuss on Twitter ahead of time. I will retweet the information. It's really good information. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, for checking out my Patreon. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.